Legend has it that for centuries in a remote and hidden valley in a Himalayan mountain range, a sacred gathering takes place at the exact time of the Taurus full moon. This full moon, also known as ΒΕΣΑΚ, has long been associated with the Buddha, the Lord of Light, the messenger from the East, who returns each year to bless the world. The Buddha was born, attained enlightenment, and died under Taurus, the sign of illumination, of vision, known as the Eye of God. The 8 minutes leading up to the exact time of the full moon are said to be the time of supreme spiritual opportunity within the entire annual cycle, when the forces of light make an effort to increase the flow of enlightenment into the world and bring wisdom and understanding into the minds and hearts of people everywhere. As we link up in consciousness with this ceremony, we participate in a living event. It's important to understand that ΒΕΣΑΚ is the festival of the living Buddha, not a commemoration of the Buddha of antiquity. The legend states that as the time of the full moon approaches, many people from the surrounding district find their way to a little valley in Tibet, on the further side of the Himalayas, in which the ceremony of blessing takes place. There gathers also a group of those great beings who are the custodians on earth of God's plan for our planet and for humanity. They range themselves in the northeastern end of the valley and in concentric circles prepare themselves for a great act of service. In front of a large rock, looking towards the northeast, stand the 3 great lords. These are the world teacher, who stands in the centre, the Lord of living forms, the Manu, who stands on his right, and the Lord of civilization, who stands on his left. These 3 face the rock, upon which rests a great crystal bowl of water. As the time of the full moon approaches, a stillness settles down upon the crowd, and all look towards the northeast. Certain ritualistic movements take place in which the grouped masters and their disciples take up symbolic positions on the floor of the valley. This is all done to the sound of certain chanted words and esoteric mantrams. The expectancy in the onlooking crowd becomes great, and the tension is real and increasing. Through the entire body of people, there seems to be felt a stimulation or potent vibration which has the effect of awakening the souls of those present, fusing and blending the group into one united whole, and lifting all into a great act of spiritual demand and readiness. The world's aspiration is focused on this waiting group. As the chanting and the rhythmic weaving grow stronger, all turn in the direction of the narrow part of the valley, looking over and beyond towards the northeast, and through the long narrow portion of the valley, far in the distance, a point of brilliant light is seen rising over the horizon. Gradually, the point of light becomes a sun, blazing and approaching ever nearer. As the blazing sun approaches, its size and light completely obliterate the opening of the narrow valley, and only the sun is seen. Its effulgence fills the whole of the larger valley, and it is as though all present stand within the sun, so intense is the lighted brilliance. At the exact moment of the full moon, the great sun hovers over the altar. The sun is now realized to be the tremendous spiritual radiance of the great Lord and Son of God, the Lord Buddha. Enormous in size, his hand extended in blessing, received by the world teacher. Once the exact moment of the full moon passes, the figure of the Buddha recedes to the far distant horizon, fading out of sight. The world teacher turns to face all present as he intones the great hierarchical mantram used only once a year. The invocation sets up a great vibration, which is of such potency that it reaches up from the group to God himself. It marks the supreme moment of intensive spiritual effort of the entire year, and the spiritual vitalization of humanity and the spiritual effects last throughout the succeeding months. As the Buddha disappears, the bowl of water imbued with his blessing is distributed to all present. Through the united effort of the world teacher and the Buddha, working in closest cooperation, a channel of communication is built between humanity and God. The linking up of the Buddha and the world teacher creates a bridge in consciousness across which masters, initiates, disciples and aspirants are able to walk and make contact with certain energies not otherwise easily available. As we link up in consciousness with this event, we aid the Buddha in his work to contact, hold, and distribute spiritual energy in the service of humanity and the planet.
What can we do to play our part in the ΒΕΣΑΚ festival? For 2 days prior to the ΒΕΣΑΚ full moon, the day of the full moon, and for the 2 subsequent days, endeavor to do the following things. Link up with all people of spiritual intention and goodwill throughout the world. Using the creative imagination, eliminate out of your consciousness all negativity, seeing yourself clearly as ranged on the side of the forces of light. Preserve a spirit of love for all individuals. When meditating and invoking the forces of light, endeavor to forget entirely your own personal difficulties, tragedies and problems. Secondly, endeavor at sunrise, at noon, at 5 o'clock, and at sunset, plus the exact time of the full moon in your own land, to say the great invocation with the intent to invoke, precipitate, and anchor in outer manifestation the waiting potencies. Do this aloud when possible, and in group formation whenever feasible.
The Great Invocation. From the point of light, within the mind of God, let light stream forth into human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love, within the heart of God, let love stream forth into human hearts. May the coming one return to earth. From the centre, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the centre, which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth.